guys, it is a sad day for this E30 right here. We started diagnosing it. We thought it was going to be just a quick turn it on and drive it out the parking lot, but no. Everything was wrong. For some reason, the starting fuel pressure was at like 80 psi, and then it dropped off as soon as we started cranking it. The plug gap was at like 0.055 or 60. It was huge, and there are these like AutoZone plugs, and they just looked bad. And for some reason, it was flooding every time. So we turned the fuel pressure down. Was cranking it. Even the compression test was all fine. So we had fuel, we had spark, we had compression. Everything was fine. It wouldn't start. It really didn't make any sense. So out of nowhere, when we were cranking, it just sounded like we lost a cylinder. There's really no other way to explain it, but it just sounded like one of them just died. So we rechecked it, and cylinder 1 all of a sudden now has 0 compression. So I have no idea what happened, but we ended up pulling the valve cover. I'll show you guys. And pretty much everything that we thought could go wrong, had. So we checked it out, and you can see how what looks like bearing material is coming out, but there's no bearings in these. It's just a cam tray and a cap. So you can even see the gold and discoloration here. It was pretty obviously cooked. And we started pulling off a few other caps, and they're kind of all like it. They all have these like pieces of material coming out. You can just tell it was started oil too long. There's a broken chain guide in there, and we realized that if that's the case, then this thing's got to come out. And it really sucks though, because this looks like a fresh build. Like, this head is clean and the oil's clean, and it was clearly just machined. Like, this was clearly all just put together. So for the oil pan to break, it's really heartbreaking, but we're gonna hook them up. We have engines in stock. We got one right here. This is a 2.8 that I was saving for a rainy day, but looks like it's gonna end up in here. So we're gonna get this motor out and get the new one in, and then this thing should be ready to go, and we can see how it rips on the street. One other thing to note about these particular swaps in the E30 is that since the engine harness is so kind of like integrated with the car, it's always going to be easiest to keep the harness on the car when you're taking out engines and doing swaps, or if this happens and all you're doing is changing a long block. All the sensors kind of come off. They can just tuck off to the side, and you can just pull the long block out. So if you're working on a M52 or S52 swapped E30 car, and you have to change the engine, just know that keeping the engine harness on the car, easy way to keep it simple. Alright guys, check this out. So I had to show you. So for some reason, this E30, the entire exhaust is one continuous piece. There's no flanges, there's no connection points, there's no nothing. And not only that, but we have basically scraped flat flange there. And then this is my favorite part right here. Check this out. That is gnarly. Not only that, but this is like punched in. Like someone did this intentionally. This isn't just from scraping. This is gnarly. So we had to take this whole thing out first before we could even do anything. I noticed that there's a little crack right there. I did see that.
I like the material change.
Yeah, it's just black from there back. This was actually pretty fun getting out as one piece, but I think we might separate it and cut it and weld it and hook them up with an actually removable piece here, but we'll see how this goes. we got the old engine out. This thing's pretty gross, honestly, but we're gonna take some accessories, the oil pan, the clutch, a bunch of stuff off of this one. And here we got the new one. I know it's on its side, but it's a very clean motor. It's got a fresh head gasket, all new hardware. It's got new gasket on the oil filter housings, so this should be a relatively straightforward swap of accessories, and then it'll just go right back in. This should be done in no time. This engine oil has 0 drive time on it. Wow. Wow. Alright, so we have the new motor ready to go into the E30. I'm going to show it to you guys in 1 second. But we finished swapping over all the accessories. We got the pan on, the valve cover. We even had to steal the harmonic balancer, the water pump, the thermostat, all that stuff. So here it is. This is the new guy right here. It's pretty much ready to drop in. We have all new E90 studs in here. I can put the part number in the description, but these have all the inverted Torx heads so you can screw them in nicely. Everything's on, everything's sealed up, everything's RTV'd. We're pretty much ready to go back in. So we're gonna get this thing back in and hopefully get this thing started a little bit later. Alright, so this actually went way smoother than I thought it was going to be. This thing dropped right in, perfect straight down, one shot, right onto the motor mount. That was actually shockingly quick. Yeah.
Jeff's surprise motor mount.
Quick little motor mount. This is just holding it back because it wants to fall forward because it doesn't have any of the flywheel or transmission on it or anything. But we purposefully left all that off, and we don't have a motor mount arm over here at all right now because we now have the fun job of snaking the whole entire header exhaust system up and through that little hole that I just showed you. There's really not a whole lot of room in here, but we're gonna make it happen. We got it out, so we know it's possible coming in. Leaving this off just gives us a little more wiggle room, so we're gonna do that. All right, so we're under the car now. This is the hole I'm talking about. We have to fit the whole header through this, and this is gonna be the fun part, honestly. Shouldn't be too bad, but I honestly can't believe that we have to do this. I don't know why they made this exhaust only one welded piece all the way.
No leaks.
No leaks. Ready?
In theory, no leaks. All right.
All right, so we got the headers in, and we got a few of the nuts tight already. It actually wasn't that bad. Jeff and I definitely had to manhandle this thing, but we were able to sneak it through, get the motor mount back on, excuse me, and motor mount arm back on, and it all went good. And then right after that, we went ahead and bolted the clutch on the flywheel. For everybody who wants to know, the flywheel is 77 foot-pounds and the pressure plate is 18 foot-pounds. But now that we have all this together, it's actually time to grab the special tool. This is, I mentioned this in the last video, this is my broken bell housing that I can bolt to the motor and bolt the starter on and see if it runs. Just easy, without having to put the whole transmission in. So we're gonna slap this on and I'll show you what this looks like installed. So this is what it looks like mounted. I know it kind of looks crazy, but it's gonna work really good for our application. Good for diag, good to get the motor running. I don't have to put anything else together back here. None of the shifter, clutch, pedal, nothing. But something to note is that it's actually pretty crazy how close the clutch is to the edge of the tranny at pretty much at all times, because this is just a clean broken off section, and just look at how close it is to the edge of the bell housing under normal operation. It's pretty nuts. But yeah, this little tool helps a lot. It's gonna be great. Alright guys, so the E30 is done and we really don't have anything else to do except for fill it with oil and give her a start up. Everything else should be good to go from last time. This should be quick and easy. Let's see if she runs. She should. Alright, so we're all set. We cranked it a bunch, primed the oil system. We know it has fuel, so we're gonna have Jeff give her the gold first start, see if she runs. Hell yeah.
Talking about right there, man.
Right?
That was pretty good for a start, you know?
Honestly, that was pretty good. We're gonna let it run for a little bit and see how it warms up. Hell yeah, bro.
Oh yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. Alright, now that we're all done here, we got the G260 in here. Something I did want to mention is that the Guibo that was previously mentioned in the last video was actually the wrong size altogether. What was sourced and what was given to me was not right, but when I went to go put it together, I noticed that this is actually a ZF Guibo, E36 ZF Guibo. And another trick that I don't know if many people know about is that this drive shaft is actually the front half of a all-wheel drive E46 drive shaft. Here's the part number actually right here. We got 7502959. But this is the front half of a ZF E46 all-wheel drive. And it bolts right up to the Guibo, and it works in the slip yoke of the rear half of the drive shaft. So just a little trick if anybody hasn't done that yet. We did the Condor mounts and swap mount bracket. We modified the shifter up in there to work with the G260. It's all together, I just gotta bleed the slave. All right, so now that this is done, I think we're gonna go give a quick rip around the parking lot.
Oh yeah, dude.
Let's do it. Let's go. All right, so this was actually a pretty successful drive. I just got back. I let it idle for a little while and used that time to put the hood on. It's actually a really easy process. Just a couple of 10 mils up front, but it actually runs a lot smoother now. The clacking of the lifters went away. The oil smoothed it all out. There's a little bit of a tick left, but it's actually pretty common on these motors. But I think he's gonna love it. And now it runs and drives, it functions. The E30 transmission works great. Sounds good. You guys can listen to it.
Oh yeah, dude.
All right, so this simple oil pan and tranny swap turned into an entire engine swap. We got it done, and it runs great, it drives great. I think he's gonna love it, but I think we're just gonna call it right there because that ended up being a lot more work. What, we got that done in what, 15, 20 minutes, apparently? See you guys next time.